Hello everyone, how you all doing? My name is Rafael and thank you for watching today's video. So today I wanted to showcase a build that is pretty easy to get and will help newer players to farm for better gear. So this build is for solo players who want to complete the summit on heroic difficulty without having to get a maxed out build. What I mean by that is that I could easily show you a full red DPS build or a full skill build with perfect talents, and the red build DPS having 60% critical hit chance and 100% critical hit damage with fully god roll chest piece and backpacks with the right talents on them and all 3 rolls being maxed out. But in all honesty, how easy is for someone to get something like that, for a new player to actually get to put a build like this together if he cannot farm for it? So telling people about must-have builds but not telling them what build they need to have in order to farm for those must-have builds, it's kind of stupid in my opinion. And I have already showcased pretty much every must-have god roll build in my channel, so right now I'm just gonna showcase different type of builds. So I got a 4-piece Hunter Fury with Memento and the Circle of Conserve build for you. The only must-have item in this build is the Memento. We want it mostly for the second buff, which when we reach 30 stacks with it, we will have for the rest of our farming session, plus 30% weapon damage and 3% armor regeneration. The first buff could work great with an Intimidate talent on our chest piece, but I decided to go with Obliterate instead, because in the last floor when we will have to fight the hunters, we will not be picking up any Memento trophies, so the Intimidate talent will never be procced. Also the first buff giving us 5% extra weapon damage and 10% bonus armor for 10 seconds with each trophy that we pick up. It's pretty great as well. But what I'm saying here is just the second buff I think has a bigger impact in the build than the first one. The first one though helps also. As you can see from my stats, we only have 103% critical hit damage, which proves that this build is nothing crazy and pretty easy for you to put together. The critical hit chance is at 60%, but because we're running SMGs, we get a lot of critical hit chance just by equipping an SMG on, simply because the second core attribute of the SMGs is always critical hit chance. And my Lady Death has 21 I think, and the Vector has somewhere around 16, I don't quite remember. Also, the fact that we're using 4 gear set pieces makes the build even easier to put together. As you know, brand sets come with 3 attributes, so in order for us to have a 3 god roll piece, we will need either all 3 attributes to drop being maxed out, or just 2 of them being maxed out in order to recalibrate the third one. But that would mean that the 2 that are already maxed out when the item drop would have to be the ones that we're looking for. So let's say that we're going for weapon damage, critical hit damage and critical hit chance. If we get a full weapon damage roll and then another god roll weapon handling and 5% critical hit damage, then that piece is not good to us because we cannot recalibrate 2 and we can only recalibrate 1, so which one is gonna be, you know what I mean? However, the gear set pieces come only with 2 attributes on them, and even though we're losing on stacks, well, not on stacks, excuse me, we're losing on stats, but where we're actually losing in stats, we get it back from the bonus that the gear set gives us. So we only want one of those 2 attributes to drop being close to being maxed out, and then we can recalibrate the second one to whatever we want. So as you can see here, I have a 12% weapon damage roll which I kept, and then recalibrated the second attribute to what I wanted it to be. So if you go to the targeted loot area for Hunter's Fury, in just an hour or so you will find 4 pieces with having weapon damage being close to 15%. Even if it's 11 or 12, it's still fine. You don't need it to be 15%. You can have all 4 pieces have around 12% and then recalibrate the second attribute to full critical hit damage or critical hit chance. Hunter Fury pieces will give us 15% SMG damage and 15% shotgun damage, 20% armor on kill, which in reality is 30% because we're running the gunner specialization, which gives us another 10% armor on kill, and then we have the Apex Predator bonus or whatever it's called. Enemies within 50 meters receive a debuff amplifying our damage against them by 20%. Killing a debuffed enemy with our weapon disorientates, excuse me, I cannot pronounce that word, other enemies within 5 meters and amplifying weapon damage by 5% for 10 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. So as you can see, the Hunter's Fury is a pretty powerful gear set. Probably it's my favorite one to use. The last piece that we will need is a Circle of Concern piece. It's a chest piece for the extra 10% SMG damage. As you can see, the attributes are not even close to being as good as I would like them to be. We have a headshot damage in there. We have 11% weapon damage or whatever we have. I don't quite remember the stats right now. I don't have the build in front of me. I'm just reading the script. But that's not a problem since we already hit pretty hard. As for the talent, as I told you already, I decided to go with Obliterate. It's really up to you what you will decide. You can go with Intimidate, you can go with Obliterate, you can go with Unbreakable. As I told you, it's up to you. And then for my weapons, I'm using a Vector SBM 9mm with Close and Personal as my talent, and my secondary is the Lady Death. Lady Death can hit a lot harder than the Vector. At some points I reached numbers up to 1 million damage per bullet, which is crazy for a build that it's that easy to get. The Vector hits slower, to be honest, but it puts out 300 extra rounds per minute than the Lady Death, and I really like using the Vector since Division 1. I don't know what it is. I just like Vectors. In every game that I'm playing, if it has a Vector, it's my favorite weapon. So if you do the math, I'm actually pretty sure that the Lady Death will be the winner here. But I kind of get tired running around all the time in order to get the stacks up, and I also don't like the magazine size that the Lady Death has, 32 bullets. I mean, I get it, it has only 32 bullets because if you stack up the talent, it hits like a train, but it's just like, they're not enough for me. I just don't like 32 bullets in my magazine. I don't know what to say. I started using this build at 470 or so, and until floor 91 or 92, I don't quite remember, I only used the Vector. I wasn't even using Lady Death to be honest. I don't know why. As I told you, I like the Vector, and it works just fine. I didn't have any issues when it came to the damage. I didn't have any issues taking out even rogue agents that spawned. I killed rogue agents, I killed the bosses, I killed tanks. I had no issues at all. However, as I told you, the Lady Death is the weapon you want to be using in boss rooms and in Hunter's floor, simply because it just has a lot more damage, especially if you stack up the talent on it. If you run around, have like full stacks, then you're just gonna hit like a train. Against the Hunters, I used the Riot Foam and the Revive Hive, while for the rest of the summit I was using a shield with the Revive Hive. So that's it pretty much. A very simple and easy build to get, which will allow you to complete summit all by yourself. I hope that you enjoyed the video and that you find what you came here looking for. If you did, please make sure to drop a like and to subscribe for more content. I really appreciate all the support. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.